The 7 Years' War was the first truly global conflict, a monumental struggle between Britain and France for global supremacy, with battles fought in North America, Europe, India, Africa, the Caribbean, and at sea. It began in North America in 1754, where British and French forces clashed over their colonial territories in what is also known as the French and Indian War. This war ended France's presence as a land power in North America. By the 1750s, France had established control over Canada and the Great Lakes region, while Britain held its 13 colonies along the eastern seaboard. Tensions reached a boiling point in the frontier regions, particularly the upper Ohio River Valley, where British, French, and Native American interests collided. A young George Washington delivered a British ultimatum to the French in the region around present-day Pittsburgh, demanding their withdrawal. When the French refused, war was officially ignited. In the early stages of the conflict, the French, with the help of their Native American allies, managed to gain the upper hand over British forces. However, the war's trajectory shifted dramatically in 1758 when the British captured the French stronghold of Louisbourg, followed by Quebec City, and later Montreal. The dominance of the British Navy played a decisive role, blockading French ships and cutting off reinforcements to their colonies. The British not only claimed victory in North America but also seized French territories in the Caribbean, West Africa, and India. Notably, they invaded Pondicherry in India in 1761, further weakening French influence across the globe. While the war raged in North America and beyond, it was also being fought fiercely in Europe. This European theater of the conflict was largely driven by the ambitions of Prussia and Austria. Prussia, under the leadership of Frederick the Great, sought to assert its dominance in Central Europe, while Austria aimed to reclaim the rich province of Silesia, which had been lost to Prussia during the War of Austrian Succession. In 1756, Frederick the Great made a bold move by invading Saxony, kicking off the European phase of the war. Austria, seeking support to regain Silesia, forged an alliance with its longtime enemy, France. This unlikely alliance was part of the so-called diplomatic revolution. Russia and eventually Spain also joined France and Austria in the war, fearing the growing power of Prussia. Despite early victories, France struggled to maintain momentum. The French offensive against Hanover initially succeeded, but they soon lost their advantage. Meanwhile, Prussia was engaged in a fierce battle on its eastern front, holding off Russian and Austrian forces, though at great cost. The war took a significant turn in 1762 with the death of Russian Empress Elizabeth. Her successor, Peter III, was sympathetic to Frederick the Great and quickly signed a peace treaty, pulling Russia out of the conflict. This was a major turning point, allowing Prussia to focus its resources on other fronts. On the Western Front, Spain's decision to ally with France backfired. Spain's invasion of Portugal, a British ally, ended in disaster. Moreover, Spain lost significant territories, including Cuba and Manila in the Philippines, to the British. By the end of the 7 Years' War, over 1 million people had died, and the global balance of power had shifted dramatically. Two key treaties emerged from the conflict. In Europe, the Treaty of Hubertusburg in 1763 forced Austria to formally cede Silesia to Prussia, solidifying Prussia's status as a major European power. Austria, though weakened, managed to save face by freeing Saxony from Prussian control. The Treaty of Paris, also signed in 1763, officially ended the French and Indian War in North America. The British emerged victorious, and France lost almost all of its North American territories, retaining only a few small colonies in the West Indies and parts of Senegal. This marked the end of France's supremacy in Europe until the French Revolution and the rise of Napoleon. Britain, meanwhile, gained Canada and Florida, eliminating its European rivals from North America and establishing itself as the world's dominant power with the mightiest navy. However, the cost of the war left Britain in deep debt. To repay these debts, the British government imposed heavy taxes on its American colonies, leading to widespread resentment and ultimately planting the seeds of the American Revolution. Interestingly, the French defeat in the 7 Years' War would later influence France's decision to support the American colonists in their fight for independence against Britain. The loss of its colonies in North America stung France, and aiding the American patriots in the Revolutionary War became a way for France to strike back at its British rivals. The 7 Years' War truly shaped the course of modern history, leading to the rise of Britain as a global power and setting the stage for future conflicts that would define the 18th and 19th centuries. If you found this video informative, make sure to hit the subscribe button and join us for more deep dives into fascinating historical events.